Number two, quite simply, has been as popular today as we shine a spotlight on a really important topic, and that's vitamin K2 MK7. Stay with us. We only have about 6 or 7 minutes here, but it's information you need to hear. We know we have to have calcium and get sufficient levels of calcium for a healthy skeleton and bones and teeth. One of the things that we also maybe know is that we've got to make sure that calcium is going where it's supposed to and not to our arteries. Well, in walks vitamin K2 MK7, and Andrew, you've been talking about this for a while now, but it really feels like the past 2-3 years, it has just burst onto the scene in a very main event way.
For more than a decade, and when we first started talking about it, I got a lot of praise and gratitude from the folks who were doing the research on vitamin K2 MK7, because no one else was talking about it. The only time products start being talked about by the manufacturers and the folks out, not so much manufacturers, but the folks out in the marketplace, is if there's a pre-existing demand for them. But what I did is I just saw an ingredient that needed and required education, that it's an ingredient that about 15 years ago is when the research really came to light, that vitamin K2 MK7 was a special, a unique form of vitamin K. Vitamin K1 is involved in blood clotting. Vitamin K2 MK7 has nothing to do with that role in blood clotting, but everything to do with a critical role in terms of calcium utilization in our body. We'll talk about our calcium magnesium intensive care in a moment. I always thought it's important to speak about the vitamin K2 MK7 first, but we all need calcium. We all have an enormous amount of calcium in our bones. That is the storage, the reservoir for calcium. What's great about that it's a storage and reservoir for calcium, is it also plays a critical role in keeping our bones strong. But unfortunately, because every cell in our body requires calcium, there's constantly calcium being moved and exchanged throughout our body. And we know where we want to keep our calcium, that's in our bones, and we want to deliver it to all our cells to do what it needs to do. But we don't want calcium to engage in a process that's called calcification. Calcification often occurs where there might be damage to tissues and our body is trying to heal that damage, and as a result, sort of an imperfect job of healing, and biological systems can be a little bit imperfect at times. That's kind of the aging process. But unfortunately, that calcification can occur in places we don't want it to occur, like our joints, and interferes with the flexibility and resiliency of our joints. That calcification can also occur in an area we really don't want it, in our arteries.
Right.
And many of us have had something called a calcium scan, where they actually look at calcium in our heart, in the blood vessels, the arteries of our heart, because it's an interesting indication of the potential risk or the progression of heart disease. Because we do not want calcium integrated into our arteries, integrated, say, into plaque in our arteries. In order for our arteries to function at their best and be youthful, we want them to be flexible and resilient. Because vitamin K2 MK7 is responsible for sort of messaging. What it does, it gives a message to your body and ensures that calcium is going to remain in the tissues where we want it, in our bones, doing the work, stimulating the osteoblasts that make new, healthy bone. And also, it inhibits the deposition, the integration of calcium in tissues where we do not want it, specifically, say, our arteries or joints or things like that. Just in summarizing, vitamin K2 MK7 kind of works like a traffic cop.
Right.
And it makes sure that the calcium goes where it's supposed to go, stays where it's supposed to stay, and doesn't go where we don't want it, the arteries and things. And the research and clinical studies have been more than exciting in terms of observing the benefits that vitamin K2 MK7 delivers to our skeleton, and also delivers to heart health and arterial health.
Valuable information, and so many people obviously sitting up and taking notice today. That's why we have sold so many thousands. I'll read 3 reviews and then go over the pricing, and then we'll kind of finish it off. Yes.
by the way, this is the first time we've ever offered the 1,000 count, and it's going to go away for at least a year to a year and a half. So it was something we did specially at everyone's request for this Today Special, and then it goes away tonight.
So let's just look at that for a second. There's 1,000 capsules available till midnight. The regular pricing would be $339. If you order it tonight, well, you get it for under $150, saving way more than you're spending. So a massive opportunity on a specialty size, only good for the next couple hours. Here's what people are saying online on hsn.com, no additives. Because I take so much calcium, my doctor recommended I take vitamin K2 to make sure the calcium was used by my body to strengthen my bones. So I immediately bought these because there were no additives to ruin my health. When you purchase Andrew Lessman supplements, you don't have to worry about the quality or composition. They're clean and manufactured environmentally friendly. Thank you, Andrew. Innovative, and they are. Happy to begin a new course from a trusted source. I sought the advice of my physicians before taking vitamin K2 MK7. My doctors did the research on the product and directed me to go ahead and begin the supplement as there was no conflict. I will no longer be sending calcium to my arteries. Thank you, Andrew Lessman, for the endless research to easily understand the education and quality products you bring us. Finally, strong bones. I believe K2 really does help build bones. I've been taking vitamin K2 MK7 for over a year, and I swear it works. Bone density tests showed improvement. It is a miracle. Andrew, we shine that light on something that is important. The more you know, the more you realize it's something you should consider.
And it's something that I'm proud that we were perhaps among the very first companies to offer vitamin K2 MK7 more than a decade ago. Now, what's exciting to me is that doctors are well aware of its benefits, well aware of its essential nature, and you don't take vitamin K2 MK7 just because you supplement calcium. You take vitamin K2 MK7 because we all have calcium in our bones. We all have calcium in every cell in our body, and with that comes the risk of calcification of tissues that we don't want to calcify, and that's a risk that just comes with all of us with the aging process. So what vitamin K2 MK7 does is it just shifts that balance, shifts that equilibrium in the direction of calcium remaining in our bones, strengthening our bones, which is of course something we all want, but at the same time resisting that tendency for calcium, whether you supplement or just get it from your diet, that calcium to find its way into other tissues as we age and undermine the health, the elasticity, the flexibility of those tissues like our arteries and joints.
It's a pot of gold over here, and really you are going to save a pot of gold if you order before midnight. As we wrap it up, just one last reminder, the 1,000 capsules is going away momentarily at midnight tonight. It's a special size done just for today, normally $339.
And like Essential One, the vitamin K2, we did not anticipate this demand as well. And we're manufacturing product as we speak. So even if something is coming in, you'll still get it in a matter of a week or two because we move things so quickly when we manufacture.
Thank you for your orders. Most people are getting that 1,000 caps, saving the most amount, certainly.